Good evening, friends, or morning, wherever you're watching from. This is Tracy Brown, and my team and I of non-diet dietitians provide trauma-informed counseling so that you can feel safer in your own skin. So we're doing a kind of deep series here, and this week we are talking about eating issues, body image worries as a way to connect. And so if you haven't seen the blog where I kind of summarize all the things we're going to be doing over the next several weeks, I'll post that below so that you can kind of get caught up with the summary. And if you haven't watched Money's video around, that's a thing that sometimes when it is felt like the only way to feel like you're not going to get criticized or that you might get special attention or regard or care or any kind of positive feedback is through having food worries, following a diet, eating in a way that doesn't just feel attuned to your own body. When we start doing those things to connect with others, that's how we start to wire up in relationships. This is what I've got to do to get the thing, or this is what I've got to do to avoid the negativity. So it goes both ways. It's a defense strategy as well as a attachment, connection strategy, right? And so in this video, that's already talked about Monday. This video is like, well, I'm getting this. I get it. I see it. And let me give you a really clear example. So a lot of times if we've grown up going to certain kinds of meetings to getting approval for our performance around our weight and body changes, that we get used to thinking that's normal conversation. And then when maybe you started going when you were a young kid or in high school or in college, whatever you were doing to basically kind of commune with others and you talk with others, you lament over the losses, so to speak, of not losing weight or eating a certain food that diet culture considers not a weight loss food, or maybe you're celebrating that you lost some weight and you're getting lots of good feedback. And when you start to well, how do I connect if I'm not doing that stuff with people anymore? First step is noticing, maybe just stepping back, wow. So basically what people are saying without saying it is that we're going to celebrate you if you lose weight. And if you don't lose weight, either we say nothing or maybe say something negative. Let's take a step back and to acknowledge that's a dynamic that's happening and they're not really seeing you. And that hurts. So sometimes we have to acknowledge the reality of wow, this kind of relational connection does not feel good. I don't want it. I have to acknowledge it. Do I want this? Do I not want this? And then 2, I think we got to grieve. That's just, that is part of this. And the grief and the sadness is not a threat. It's very uncomfortable. And if we've got histories where emotions like this that are kind of strong, they are strong, feel like a threat, we're going to want to run away from that. And our first stance is to learn how to stay. Can we be stayers with this? And oftentimes we need help to learn how to stay and not kind of get hijacked by our mind that says that this sadness is bad or this grief is too much and wrong and bad. I got to get out of here. Is to learn how to be hospitable to the emotions that maybe don't feel so good, but they're not a threat. That doesn't mean that something's wrong or bad. If you're feeling that way through disconnecting with participating in getting, purposely trying to get people to be positive only towards you because of weight loss, or negative towards you because of lack of weight loss, let's just put it that way, or performance with your food or movement or whatever. That's one how. That's what do I do? That's one how, is just recognizing that this is at play and that I don't want this to be part of my value system anymore. The flip side of this is as we're looking at what we don't want, we have to focus on, what do I want? And I think a lot of this is choosing to take some risk without being, I don't have to fully commit to this, but I can give it a fair shot to be with people, have conversations with people, eat with people, that this isn't, they don't revolve around diet culture universe. And that might feel like that's not a lot of people, but there are people that, within the non-diet space and outside of it, that this isn't what they pin their worth on. And starting to just even if you don't know how to interact in those conversations, just be around them. It's really important. And of course, Another thing is just to recognize that even if it feels like everybody else can diet and you can't, not minimizing and invalidating that the reality is like, I can't do this anymore. It hurts me too bad and mentally keeps me unstable when I continually think about calories, what other people think about me, just all the things that go along with disordered eating. It's like, regardless of, let's just pretend that this is truth, and I know it's not truth. Let's just pretend that like you're the only one that diets don't work for. You're the only one on the planet. We know it's not true, but just pretend. And with what you know about your history, or what you're currently going through right now that just feels like, I can't do this by myself. Like, I wouldn't wish how my mind thinks or how I feel about my body my worst enemy. And I know that my worth, depending on what I look like, and using food to like suppress my emotions, I know that if I engage in those behaviors, it like either makes that happen, exacerbates that, and I know that about myself. So no matter what anybody else is doing, I know those are my circumstances, my consequences to engaging in what it looks like everybody else is doing, and in doing it so well and gracefully, and it works for them. It's no problem for them. People, when they're still really brainwashed into like diets are great and they work long term, and if I just had the next right one, everything would be better, and it would be different and better this time. When they're still in it, we're always minimizing the negativity about it, because man, we want desperately for it to work, because we don't know why, but we know we just have to do this. We know, and you know, I hear watching this and doing this work, we know that the reality is that you're just hanging by a thread, cognitively and emotionally. You know that's true. And so it's just really important to not minimize your experience. So these are just two things you can try with a lot of compassion and a lot of compassionate witnessing, a lot of hospitality towards your own experience. So I've been studying words this week. I'm going to do a little meme about it tomorrow. But it's really important how to trust the experience of like what happens in me when I minimize what I've experienced versus when I'm hospitable to it. We have a different experience, and usually we can take different actions because there's some level when we're seen and heard, especially by ourselves. Other people, it's wonderful, and we need that for healing. But if you at least mentally do that for yourself, you're going to start to find that we don't so desperately feel like the only option we have is to connect and be in a relationship with people just through what we just ate or what we look like. So I hope this video was helpful. I hope it gave you some things to think about, maybe take action on. I hope so. If you need more support, I'll have a link for that down below if you'd like. And we're going to keep talking about the functions of food and weight worries as we have in the blog that we did last week as well. So please, if you haven't caught up on that, catch up on that. You know where we're going these next several weeks. If you have some things you want to add to it in terms of like, Tracy, you missed something, or I think that didn't feel like it landed quite right. I'm not sure what the language was, something, I don't know. Or I'm trying to understand more of what you're talking about. I think I know what you're talking about. Please message, let me know, and try to make it clear. And please participate in these live videos or whatever you need to do to kind of get clarity about your situation. So thanks so much, and we'll talk soon. Bye for now.